Burnout? Burnout. What's up, subscribers? Mike from SPPTV here. Today I want to get this OBD2 mounted in the S15. I soldered some wires on here last night. Made a nice long piece I could use to mount it inside the truck so I can actually log and tune with HP tuners inside the truck. Something I should have done a long time ago, so that'll be nice. And then once I get that in, I want to drive around and try to get stranded, basically. Try to figure out what the problem is, see what it does on the log when it does die, if it does. But first, since the battery from the S15 is still in here, I'm going to start it up again because I haven't started it since that night, really late at night when I started it. It was revving out of control all wildly that night. And a few of you guys gave me some suggestions to try. Vacuum leak was a common one. The map sensor I'm going to unplug. And first, the idle air control valve. I'm just going to leave unplugged and see what it does. For the record, I'm not sure if this will do anything, but test one, idle air control valve unplugged. So with that unplugged, it went really high. It was like 2,500, 3,000 RPM, but it was stable. So that could be something to look into, I suppose. I really need to do some more research on this subject or ask Rob or Clayton because they'd probably know better. Or maybe some of you guys can comment below. I just figured I would give this thing another try since the battery was in there. Let's see what it does with the idle air control valve plugged back in. You know, I'm staring at this check engine light and realizing I have HP tuners right here, so maybe I should hook that up and it can tell me something. Another thing a commenter said to try was to unplug the map sensor, which is located under there on these trucks. So I unplugged that, we'll give that a shot. Actually running kind of low. It still seems like it has a miss or something though. That's really the first time this truck has idled where it should for me. So, map sensor unplugged, might be onto something there. Alright, so I got the HP tuners connected now. Let's see if we can read any error codes before I even start it. Random misfire and manifold absolute pressure. Well, that's probably because I had it unplugged, so that makes sense. Let's start it up and see if I can see anything on the scanner here. Might help to start recording or scanning. Still not running right, missing a bunch, and it smells really gassy, but this is pretty much the nicest it's ran since I've owned it. At least the nicest idle it's ran since I've owned it. So we're getting somewhere with unplugging that map sensor. Probably worth mentioning as well, the gas has been in here for probably like 2 years that's in the tank, so that might not be the best for it running. But that's basically all I wanted to do today because I don't have much time. So now we're going to take the battery out of here and put it in the S15 and then HP tune the S15, and it's going to be really fun and we might get stranded, and you guys should stick around. If you guys haven't seen it before, this is my 1987 S15. This motor is out of a 2003 Avalanche, and it's a fun little truck. If you hadn't seen the previous video, I was having some troubles with this thing running. It would just randomly stall. The other day it wouldn't even start at all at Rob, so we had to go rescue it. You can go check that video out if you haven't seen it yet. Let's see if it starts now. That's step one. Alright. Step one complete. Alright, so now that we got it up in the driveway, I'm gonna put that OBD2 plug in here, probably somewhere under there, and then run the wires under the hood. This is where I had my OBD2 port previously, and it's just kind of a pain, especially with this new issue where it's stalling and I have to tune like on the side of the road places. So this is a long overdue and much needed upgrade. The wiring for these plugs is almost always similar. There's gonna be a power ground. In this case, there's 2 grounds that go in there. And then the data wire, the green wire, I believe is for the different type of data, what's CAN bus maybe it's called, instead of serial data. So we don't need that one, but the purple one is the data one that goes to the computer, the OBD2 wire. and then powers and grounds. So it's really pretty simple. Every vehicle is different, so you'll have to look for your specific application, but you can usually find a hole in the firewall somewhere. Maybe there's a few more holes in this vehicle's firewall than most, but you should be able to find something. Alright, so I pulled the wire through to the length I need for this to have length inside here. I don't know if you guys will be able to see, but there's a little screw right here that was already there. This might have been the spot where yeah, that's probably where the other plug, stock plug, used to go. So I'm just gonna use that and bolt this up in there, like factory. Now I got all this wire under here, so I'm gonna run it along back here where I want it, bring it here, cut to length. I already stripped these guys, just have to connect them. I was just gonna use butt connectors and be lazy because it's quicker and easier, but I do have a soldering iron and heat shrink. Should always do this stuff properly. It just eliminates another issue that might arise. All the wiring under the hood of this truck, well, everywhere on this truck, I basically consider temporary. It's not the prettiest, like I've mentioned in videos before. I end up driving this thing rather than working on it, so this wiring was the first time I ever swapped an LS. And I did it just quick to get it running and then never revisited it in the end. So the way I do this is give them a nice little twist together like this. Try to get a little bit of a physical bond going on there, whatever you'd call it. And then you take the soldering iron and solder it up. Ooh, shaky hand. And then when you're done, with any luck, it's stronger than if the wire wasn't cut. That's what I'm gonna go with. And the heat shrink, you just simply, you can use a lighter, torch, whatever. If you've never seen, it's kind of cool. You heat it up and it shrinks and kind of holds everything in there and protects it from moisture. Done. Luckily, I'm a little better at soldering than TIG welding. Alright, so now I got the 3 connections made. I like to go over everything rather with some tape after, because sometimes there can be some pokies out of here and stuff. So this kind of just works as an insulator to make sure nothing's gonna short out in there. I got it all taped up, wired away, hidden in the rest of the mess here. Like I said before, the wiring is temporary. I feel like to do this all properly, I'd have to take everything out and start from scratch. And this thing has been a daily driver this summer, so I haven't had the chance to do that. Alright, now here comes the try and get stranded part. Got my new OBD port, fancy there. I can tune in cab. I'm gonna drive around and log, and I'll post the log. I'll probably post it on the HB Tuners forum like you guys suggested as well. Oh, so much for it running. Jeez. Here is the RPM to make sure the signal isn't cutting in or out, because that could lead me to believe the crank sensor is an issue. Already I'm not super stoked, you probably can't see, but the OBD2 position where the HP Tuners wire comes out kind of hits my leg when it's on the throttle. And I just remembered that Rob informed me I had no brake fluid in the front part of my reservoir, so I should probably look into that, see what happens when we step on it a little bit besides tire spinning. Still leaves nice black marks. So far it's driving basically completely normal. I still have the tune in it with the little bit more fuel, so maybe that's helping. Really not sure. I just wanted to see if it tried to do something and I could catch it on the log. And the fog. I'm noticing when sitting still idling, the fuel trims are just going through the roof. Burnout? Burnout. By the way, that burnout was all CGI, and I'm holding the camera with my mouth right now, but so far it's running good. Huh. It's always kind of had this thing where at like low RPM, or if you put it in neutral, it would almost like stumble and want to stall, and that kind of seems like what it's doing now, but it's different. Anyways, I don't know if you guys can see me right now, but that's, oh, No, still running. That's about all we got for today. So I'm gonna go inside, edit this up, get it posted for you guys. I'm really not enjoying putting the videos up so late at night. I'd really like to get them up around like noon or something in daytime, but that means editing the night before and then uploading the next day in the morning. So I'm like behind a day right now, and I want to stay daily, so there might be a shorter video coming up just to fill a day and let me get ahead soon. Overall though, daily has been super fun. I'm not complaining. You guys, the support is great. We're almost at 10,000 subs. I've said it a few times now, but when we hit 10,000 subs, I'm actually going to blow the tires off this truck doing a burnout. So that should be fun. Like always, guys,